Here's how you can get rich with Bitcoin in 2024. Now, before we jump in, make sure you hit the subscribe button to keep up with all the content. Now, first of all, as most of us know, the Bitcoin Spot ETF recently got approved. This move by the SEC is major for the crypto market. It opens the doors for a flood of new investors who can now easily get exposure to Bitcoin without dealing with the complexities of crypto exchanges. Instead, they can use a very familiar investment vehicle, which is an ETF. This not only boosts the liquidity, but also brings greater price stability to Bitcoin. Moreover, SEC's approval is a major stamp of legitimacy for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the eyes of established financial institutions. It's a step towards mainstream adoption that we've all been waiting for. Now, the Bitcoin ETF, or the Exchange Traded Fund, is essentially a financial instrument that tracks the price of the underlying asset, which in this case is Bitcoin. It's very similar to the gold ETF, where you're not actually trading gold itself, but rather the ETF that tracks the price of the gold. It provides investors with exposure to Bitcoin's price movements without the need to directly own or manage the cryptocurrencies or the need for crypto wallets. It's basically a bridge between traditional finance and the crypto world. Now, some might be worried because the price of Bitcoin actually dropped by 5% after the approval of this Bitcoin ETF. However, if you look at the Bitcoin ETF itself, its opening day volume was unprecedented in all of history. This Bitcoin ETF completely shattered the opening day volume record with over $4.6 billion, more than tripling the gold ETF on its opening day back in 2004. And if we look at the price of Bitcoin now, a couple weeks after SEC approval, we can see that Bitcoin is back to its 40,000 mark, almost hitting 50,000 for a couple of days. This Bitcoin ETF is going to attract a lot more retail investors into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, which is going to make it an amazing asset for 2024 and the years to come. If you want a more in-depth video about the Bitcoin ETF, you can check out the video in the description below. However, that's not the only major event that's happening to Bitcoin in 2024. When it comes to cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, we have to talk about the halving event that's scheduled for April of 2024. For those who are unfamiliar, Bitcoin halving is when the reward for miners gets cut in half, reducing the rate of new Bitcoin issuance. The next halving will bring the block reward down from 6.25 to 3.125. This scarcity factor has historically led to significant increases in Bitcoin prices in the months and years following each event. We're talking about a proven trend here. To put things into perspective, the last halving occurred in May 2020, and since then, Bitcoin has grown at a whopping 52% compound annual growth rate. And the most rapid rise happened in the first 9 to 12 months post-halving. Now, in regards to halving, there are a couple major events that typically occurs. First is the pre-halving hype. In the months leading up to the halving, there's often increased speculation and anticipation, and traders and investors may buy Bitcoin in anticipation of a potential price appreciation. Now, this pre-halving hype is further impacted by the SEC ETF approval, increasing Bitcoin's price to almost $50,000 per Bitcoin. However, another major event to consider is the post-halving volatility. Directly after the halving events, there can be increased volatility in the price of Bitcoin. Some investors may take profits while others may see the reduced supply as a bullish indicator for their holding and buying more Bitcoin. This volatility can typically lead to a period of uncertainty within the price of Bitcoin. However, don't be worried because based on past trends, the third and most important event that typically happen after halving is the gradual price appreciation. Historically, in the months following a halving, Bitcoin has experienced major price appreciation. The reduced rate of new Bitcoin issuance, combined with growing interest, typically contributes to an upward price movement. This, combined with a positive overall market sentiment in the cryptocurrency market, as influenced by factors such as regulatory developments, macroeconomic conditions, and technological advancements, plays a significant role in determining the price direction. If history repeats itself, we might be in another round of substantial gains. The combination of the SEC's approval for the Bitcoin ETF and the impending halving event paints a compelling picture for potential investors. As we can see in the price of Bitcoin now, it has been solidly increasing for the past couple of months. Put more simply, these two events can be boiled down to supply and demand. This SEC approval brings in many retail investors into the cryptocurrency space, which increases the demand of Bitcoin. Combined with this halving event, which reduces its supply, these two create a deadly combination for the typical supply and demand scenario. As the demand of Bitcoin rises higher and higher with this Bitcoin ETF, and the supply of Bitcoin gets cut in half with this halving event happening in April 2024, the price of Bitcoin is surely going to rocket in this year. Just by reducing the supply alone in May 2020, Bitcoin had already had a 52% compound annual growth rate. However, you pair in the fact that the SEC approval for the Bitcoin ETF recently got approved, this number could be easily doubled or tripled by Bitcoin. Now, if we want to analyze the price movements of Bitcoin more in depth post-halving, then we can use the stock to flow model, which gauges the value of an asset with a limited supply. Bitcoin's implied value in April 2024 could be around $62,000 per Bitcoin. That's over a 30% increase from the current price. Moreover, going back to the Bitcoin ETF approval, this action by the SEC also increased institutional interest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Now, after the approval of this Bitcoin ETFs, major institutions have been competing to attract investors to their own Bitcoin ETFs. This has included many fee cuts, waived fees for certain amounts of time, and other factors to attract more and more investors. Now, this not only results in an increased demand for Bitcoin, it also increases the institutional interest in Bitcoin as well. These actions allow Bitcoin to be well established within institutions, making it an even stronger cryptocurrency than it ever was before. Now, other than this once-in-a-lifetime combination, there are also other factors that points to a bullish future for Bitcoin. With interest rates still looking bleak and bank failures continuing in 2024, the government may be forced to provide stimulus or print even more money, and this would further devalue the US dollar, similar to what occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic. And if this scenario was to continue to happen into 2024, Bitcoin's role as a fixed supply where the rules of the game are not changed could easily become very attractive to many investors who want to remove themselves from the volatility of the banking system and interest rates. Moreover, there have been many positive developments within Bitcoin's technology as well. Recent innovation like ordinals and the BRC20 tokens are driving up the demand for block space on Bitcoin networks. This not only benefits miners with higher fees, but also addresses concerns about Bitcoin's long-term security. The growth of the Lightning Network, designed for faster transactions, could turn Bitcoin into more than just a store of value, making a practical payment method. Promising signs of this Lightning adoption includes over 1,200% increase in total payments over the past 2 years. Moreover, many other countries have adopted Bitcoin already as a form of payments, which further proves the validity and resistance of Bitcoin. Now, outside of all this, there's one more major event happening in 2024 that might increase the price of Bitcoin as well. In December of this year, the Financial Accounting Standards Board will be issuing a new and updated version of the digital asset reporting rules. These rules aim to ease reporting and holding regulations for cryptocurrencies, removing a significant barrier for companies holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets. This shift in regulations could further pave the way for Bitcoin's acceptance into the corporate world. All of these factors leads to the idea that 2024 will be an incredible year for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency world. However, it is also important to note that past performance does not guarantee future results, and the cryptocurrency market is highly unpredictable. With all these factors combined, it is highly likely that the price of Bitcoin will increase in 2024 and the years to come. However, it is still essential to approach these observations with caution, as the cryptocurrency market is influenced by a myriad of factors and past trends may not accurately depict future outcomes. In conclusion, 2024 seems poised to be the groundbreaking year for Bitcoin. The SEC's approval for a spot Bitcoin ETF and the upcoming halving event are major catalysts that could reshape the dynamics of supply and demand for Bitcoin. Moreover, factors such as traditional banking and interest rates, as well as Bitcoin's technological advancements and institutional interest, as well as regulatory changes, all combine to give a positive outlook for Bitcoin's price. However, as I always say, it is essential to do your own research to determine for yourself whether Bitcoin is a valid investment for yourself. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Until next time, happy trading.